Hey everyone, Michael from Xano here. In this video, I'm excited to announce a brand new feature enhancement that enhances our version history, draft and publish mode, branching and merging, and even Xano Lake, which is a premium add-on for some of our scale plans. Now, what is this feature enhancement? It is difference comparison. So what exactly does that mean? Well, have you ever been looking at some of your different drafts as you're editing or previous versions, or even thinking about, I'm merging a development branch into a live branch. What exactly are the differences and how can I see a screenshot of those differences to get full context? Well, that exactly is what difference comparison now enables you to do in Xano. It's going to give you full context into whatever changes those are so you can make an educated decision on if you actually want to roll back to a different version, if the changes you're merging in are actually satisfactory for you. So it's going to be incredibly helpful. Let's jump over to Xano so we can walk through what this looks like. Okay, so over to Xano, I have a demo workspace set up. So let's go ahead and start to look at what difference comparison looks like through these different features. So first and foremost, I have a draft here. So let's go ahead and jump over to this draft. And here I have this API endpoint. There's a few things going on, but it's in draft mode, right? You can see I have these 10 revertible changes. So when I hit this drop down, we've always been able to see, well, what happened at each of these steps, right? You can see things like add input, who did it, when they did it. But if we actually go ahead and let's say, click on one of these, well, now we pull up a screenshot of exactly what happened at this stage, right? So we can have full context in case we wanted to restore to this certain version, right? And what's really great is you can see I can actually start to traverse through all these different versions and see what happened at each step, right? You can see, for example, in step number 2, we get our timestamp. We see that this stop and debug was deleted. So I can, just click through these, or I can hit this drop down and actually select to go back to anything to see what exactly changed in my API. This also applies to custom functions, add-ons, background tasks, and even database schema, as we'll get into, at least for the version history, right? So this gives you that full context. So I know if I want to go ahead and jump back to a certain, in this case, draft. But as I just mentioned, it's also available in version history. So if I actually jump up here to version history, you can see, well, I have 4 different versions. Now, these are different than drafts because these are actually the published versions, right? So let's go ahead and jump into here. And we have a very similar experience and interface here, exactly really the exact same. So you can see here in this previous version, well, what was different? So this for each loop conditional and this update variable all got added in what I'm comparing it from, which is my live version 4 compared to this previous version 3. And once again, I can start to just traverse back to see what's all different about these published versions, right? So super helpful context as we're looking at previous versions in case I ever need to restore something, and I can just hit that restore button if I want to go back to one of those changes. Now, this is also available for database schema, right? Because we have version history there. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at that. So I have a very simple table here called stuff. If I come in the top right here and click versions, you can see I can start to click in here, and this will cover the schema. So those columns, their names, their data types, any indexes, and any views that I might have created, right? So we can create and save views in Xano on the database. But as I start to scroll through here, we can see that some different things have changed, right? You can see we made an edit to this enum field. We deleted this price input. Looks like we added a value one instead. So we can go ahead here and get full context into everything that happened. And once again, we can hit the drop down and jump around to see in case we want to restore to a version, right? So very helpful context. So once again, version history is available on database schema, API endpoints, custom functions, background tasks, and also add-ons. That draft and publish mode is any of your business logic objects. So not on your database schema, but on everything else I had previously mentioned. But this different comparison is also super helpful for branches and merging, right? So let's go ahead, click on my branches here. You can see we have a brand new option here called compare branches. So if I actually select this, well, first select a branch to compare from. So I'm going to select this development one, which I'm editing, and then our destination branch. So where I would merge this into is what I want to select next. I would go ahead and select this production one here. And now you can see over here on the right, I can start to see, okay, we have some new things, right? I have a new add-on, I have some new admin endpoints, and I can even scroll down here and you can see there might be some changes, right? And if I actually click on the changes, well, you can see everything that was changed here, right? It looks like I added 3 inputs here. I also added 2 functions here. And that's why right next to changes, there is 5 in parentheses because there were 5 changes that were made. Now I can also, select the new endpoints and see everything that's coming in here that is new. So once again, it's going to give you full context into all these differences so you can compare them when you care about comparing them, right? And so last but not least, this is also available on Xano Link. I'll show this real quick. Xano Link is a feature where you can basically set up different workspaces to have destination workspaces and also a source workspace and push updates to them, right? It's kind of like setting up a single tenant type solution within the same instance, right? So for example, here, if I go ahead and click on Xano Link and I just select what I want to actually push into one of my destination workspaces, right? So if I actually go ahead and select here, maybe merge new branch with existing live branch, well, I can go here and select differences. And once again, here on the right, I can see, okay, here are some different changes to these API endpoints. Maybe I can go ahead, click here and get that full context. That's it for difference comparison. Once again, a very helpful feature enhancement that gives you full context on older versions compared to your live version, different drafts compared to the current draft you're in case you either want to roll back to any of those changes, and also for branching and merging in Xano Link so you can know exactly what's different when something's being merged in to give you that full context, peace of mind, and help better support that software development lifecycle. So I hope you'll enjoy this new feature. I think it's going to be incredibly useful. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video.